What's going on, everyone? Today we are taking a look at a new portable power station. This is the Fossibot F2400. Taking a look at some of the specs, this has a 2048 watt-hour LiFePO4 battery, a 2400 watt power handling with a peak of 4800 watts, a 500 watt solar charging input, UPS function with a 8 millisecond switchover time, and weighs 48.5 pounds. So taking a look at the power station itself, this is definitely a nice and modern looking power station. The one I have here is in all black, which gives it a nice and low profile look to it. As you can see, coming up top, you have these two handles here. Then you also have a storage compartment, which is big enough to store all your storage cables. I've seen a few other power stations that have a storage compartment, but you can barely fit one cable in here. As you can see right here, I have the charging cable, well, the AC cable, your solar cable, and then your car adapter as well. And they all tuck away very easily like that. So if you have your charging station, then you automatically have all your cables as well. There's still some more room in here, so you can also throw in a few USB-C cables and they'll fit in there no problem. One of my complaints with many other power stations is how they have exposed ports, or sometimes they have covered ports, but some of them are exposed. As you can see here, every single port on this power station is covered, so you don't have to worry about something getting stuck in there or dirt or grimes getting built up over time. And even the side ports are also covered as well for the inputs and outputs. Again, every single port on here is covered, which also gives it some waterproof abilities as well. As you can see right here, we have the fan intake. Then over here you have one of the other fan intakes as well. One of them's an intake, one of them's an outtake. But thanks to it having covers on every single port and fan, you'll be able to get this slightly wet and not have any issues. So nice little bonus with the power station. So taking a look at your ports, coming up to the left side, you have your car cigarette adapter. You have a XT60 output, which can do 12 volt, 25 amps. And then you have two DC barrel adapters. Coming over on this side, you have two quick charge 3.0 USB-A ports. You have two USB-C 20 watt ports, and then two more USB-C ports. And this one does 100 watts and this one does 20 watts. 95, maybe 98% of all power stations out there usually only have two USB-C ports. So definitely going to be handy to have these four ports if you're someone that needs to charge a lot of technology. Coming to the left side, this is where you have your inputs. You have your AC charging input, and then you have your DC solar input. And then coming over to the right side, this is where you have your AC outputs. As I said earlier, these can put out a max of 2400 watts total, and you have a total of 6 ports. Again, a lot more than you usually see on a power station of this size. Most power stations have anywhere from 3 to 4 ports. So very good to see you have 6 ports on this point. You don't need to bring a surge protector or anything like that. You can go ahead and plug it in right there on the power station. Coming back to the middle, you have a built-in front-facing light. A lot of power stations have it on the back, but I think I definitely prefer it here in the front, especially if you have your power station against the wall. This makes it a lot more accessible and easy to use. And this has a regular light mode, SOS, and strobe mode. And last but not least, right here up top, you have your screen. This shows you your battery percentage, your input wattage, your output wattage, and your total time remaining. It's nothing fancy or anything like that, but it's nice and bright and easy to read. So overall, no complaints there. As I said earlier, this has a LiFePO4 battery, and this is rated to maintain 80% capacity for at least 4,000 charges. So even if you use this every single day, you're still going to get 10 to 15 years of usage out of this power station. All right, so when it comes to charging, there's a few different ways you can charge this. First off, you have your AC charging, and this can charge at a maximum of 1100 watts. This will charge it from 0 to 100 in about 2 hours. And one thing I really like on this power station, and is not something I've seen on any other power station, is this customizable input dial right here. So as you can see, as I turn it, I can select the wattage I want it to charge at. So I can charge at a minimum of 300 watts, turn that up, 500, 700, 900, and then 1100. So very cool to have that customization there. A lot of power stations have the input customization. We usually got to open up an app. This, you can do it right here on the fly, very quick, very easy. So this is going to be in handy if you're charging on an outlet. Maybe you have a lot of other things plugged in on that circuit. So if you were to charge at 1100 watts, it might trip it. So you can go ahead and charge it at a lower voltage. And in general, if you have time and you're not in a rush, it's better on a battery to charge it at a lower voltage. So if you don't mind waiting a little longer and you're going to use it in a few hours, you don't need it that quickly, you can go ahead and set it somewhere in the middle. Then of course, if you wanted to charge as fast as possible, you can go ahead and set it up to the max like that. So definitely a big fan of that customization dial right there. Up next, you can also charge this with 500 watts of solar. Assuming you're charging at the max of 500 watts with some good panels and a sunny day, you'll be able to charge this from 0 to 100 in only 4 hours. Next, you can also charge it from the car cigarette adapter, and this does accept both 12 volts and 24 volts. If you're charging it at 12 volts, it'll charge in 17 hours. And then if you're inputting 24 volts, it'll charge at only 8.5 hours. And last but not least, you can simultaneously charge with both AC and solar for a max of 1600 watts. And this will charge the power station very quickly in only 1.5 hours. I almost forgot to mention, Fossibot has also released a 580 watt in-car fast charger, which allows you to quickly charge the power station while you're driving. I don't have one, but if you want to check it out, I'll also add a link to it in the description as well. All right, so let's go ahead and test out the inverter on this unit. As I said earlier, this is ready to do 2400 watts with a peak of 4800 watts. A regular household outlet can only put out 1800 watts at max, so anything that uses your regular 2 or 3 prong cord is going to be able to run on this power station no problem. In fact, since it's 2400 watts, you're also going to be able to run one high power device plus many other small things, or in some cases 2 high power devices as well. But let me go ahead and hook this up and we'll see if it can actually put out that 2400 watts as rated. So right here, I'm in my shed, and as you can see right here, this is the main power to my shed. Right now I have it hooked up on grid power, but when I move this over right here, the power station will be powering my entire shed office right now. So let me go ahead and move this over and we'll see how much my entire shed draws from this power station. All right, so as you can see, I'm now powering my shed office directly from the power station. Before I show you the wattage that it's drawing, let me go ahead and show you everything that's currently running on it. So right here I have a Wi-Fi router, I have a Google Home, and this is the larger 10-inch model. Up here I have a total of 8 Wi-Fi can lights, and then right here I also have 5 more Wi-Fi light bulbs. So that's a total of 13 Wi-Fi bulbs. And then right behind that I also have the fan running. Coming over here, I'm charging a power bank, and this is charging at 41 watts. Right next to that, I'm currently charging a cell phone as well. And last but not least, I'm also powering my entire computer setup. So that's the monitor, the 2 speakers, and the Mac Mini right there. So just to recap, that's a router, a Google Home, 11 light bulbs, a fan, a power bank, a cell phone, and a computer setup. And all of that is only pulling 270 watts. Like I said earlier, this can do a max of 2400 watts. So a office setup like I have here is a complete walk in the park for this power station. So if you have a power outage, needs to power a certain section of your house, that's not going to be a problem on this power station. Let me go ahead and turn on the AC and we'll see what kind of a draw that adds onto the power station. All right, so right here I have a 12,000 BTU window air conditioner. I have it set on cool. Let's put that to the lowest temp. I'll let that run for a few minutes so it can climb up to its working temperature, and then we'll see what kind of power that's drawing. All right, so the whole entire room, that everything I had running previously, plus the air conditioner, has put us at only 800 watts. This is an inverter-based air conditioner, so it only pulls what it needs to cool down the room. So this will fluctuate. At its highest running is probably about 1200 watts, I want to say. So if it was running at its highest draw plus this room, that'll probably put me somewhere around 1500 watts. So that still leaves me almost 1000 watts left over to run more items on this power station. So if you happen to get in a situation where it's a power outage and it's very hot out, you are going to be able to run all your essentials plus your air conditioner as well. In my opinion, I think this is a perfect middle ground power station. It's small and portable enough to still use on the go and carry it around, but also a large enough capacity to still use for home backup uses as well. With a 1000 watt hour power station, that's good enough for portability, but not quite as much for home backup. And then if you go higher, like 3,000 watt hours, yes, that's good for home backup, but then it becomes so heavy that it's not really good for portability. Again, I think this is the perfect middle ground to use for both backup and portability on the same power station. So let me go ahead and hook up a few more things on here. I have some electric heaters, and we'll see if we can get it to run that 2400 watt rated power. All right, so I went ahead and got 2 electric heaters. Let me go ahead and switch one on. Put it on the highest voltage. I did turn off the AC because I don't want to drive it over the 2400 watts, but I do have the shed still running on here, so it's about 300 watts from the shed itself. So let me go ahead and let this climb up, see what it gets to. It's probably going to go up to about 1700 watts, and then it's going to climb back down, settle around 1300 watts. All right, so the room plus one heater on high put us at 1300 watts. Let me go ahead and turn on the other heater and set it on high as well. This should put us over the 2400 watts for a while. 20, 21, 22, 23. And there it goes. It went up to 2400 watts. 24, 25. So it's running a little bit over. Still hasn't shut off. So that's good to see. 2406. It is blazing hot right now with 2 heaters pointing at me, but we'll power through it. So we're right there at that 2400 watt limit. Everything in the room plus the 2 heaters are still on. And as you can see, the fans did kick on, but impressively, they didn't kick on until I got over about 2,000 watts. Before 2,000 watts, it was running very quiet. I could not hear the fans at all. Any power station at max, it's gonna turn on the fan, but a lot of the cheaper power stations, it'll be around 800 to 1,000 watts, and that fan would just kick on and become very loud. But very cool to see that this one stayed completely quiet until I got to those much higher wattages. I went ahead and turned off the heaters. Like I said, it was getting way too hot to keep those on, but as you saw, it did hold on to that 2400 watts no problem, so it does work as advertised. Once again, definitely a good wattage and battery capacity to make it a good middle ground unit. Besides the things I just ran, on this power station, you're going to be able to run a electric cooktop, microwave, power tools, heaters, air conditioners, or again, anything that plugs into a regular 120 volt outlet. All in all, this is going to be great for home backup power, outdoor events, road trips, camping, or pretty much any other situation where you might need portable power. All right, so I drained this power station from 100% to 0 with a 1300 watt load, and it put out a total of 1,906 watt hours. Doing the math, that gives this unit a usable capacity of 93%. Most power stations of this size put out about 80 to 85% on average. So this is definitely much better than most power stations out there. So I know a lot of people get nervous when it comes to storing large batteries like this in their house, but rest assured you don't have anything to worry about, as this does have an advanced BMS. This continuously monitors and protects the power station from overvoltage, short circuits, temperatures, and many other things as well. Overall, this is definitely a solid power station. It performs much better than I expected. It feels well made, and best of all, it also comes at a great price as well. All in all, if you happen to be shopping for a mid to large size power station, I would highly recommend this one here, which again is the Fossibot F2400. If you would like to purchase or get more information, I'll also have the link in the description as well. All right, well, that about wraps up this video. As usual, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.